I'm Arthur, and I'm a textbook publisher turned technologist. I used to work for some really big publishing companies, and then in 2006, I left them to co-found an ebook production company. I thought ebook technology was moving really fast, and I could catch the crest of the ebook wave. Sony Reader and Moby Pocket had been around for years already, and Amazon would soon launch its Kindle e-reader. So we were ready to rock. I was going to be rich. And then, here in South Africa, for 4 years, nothing happened. We waited and waited for the imminent ebook revolution, surviving doing any old work we could find, and experimenting like crazy on our own projects. At one stage, we started publishing nursing textbooks. And we wanted a way for nurses to take exams and get certificates online. So we built a website for this. But we soon discovered that many of the nurses didn't even have email addresses or internet access. Some of them didn't even know the difference between a username and a coupon code. And importantly, they didn't have to know to be great nurses. By the time we shut it down, that website had cost us over 100,000 Rand, and we had made back about 3,000 Rand in 3 years. We kept losing money on projects like this until we just couldn't anymore. And in 2011, we were dead. I closed our offices. I retrenched my friends. I begged extensions from our creditors. And I took on a freelance print layout job. I felt like an idiot. As they say, being early is the same as being wrong. I had been tackling tomorrow's problems, and I hadn't addressed the problems people had today. Today's problems can present real obstacles to new technology. Recently, I was a tech advisor on a project to put e-readers into some local schools. And we faced challenges like how to set up a safe, reliable Wi-Fi network at a school. And that was challenging enough. But what really set us back was simple. Could we give a valuable device to a 12-year-old child to carry home when they have to walk home through a dangerous area every day? None of us wanted to put that child at risk, even if most of the kids would be fine. So technology moved slowly. We were facing the reality that technology spreads slowly for most people, yet the myth that technology spreads quickly was so entrenched in our thinking we couldn't escape it. It's such a common assumption that we don't even question it. For instance, we're told and we believe that the mobile web is spreading like lightning through Africa. Then why, according to our recent census, do 65% of South Africans not have internet access of any kind? Why 5 years since M-Pesa revolutionized low-cost banking in Kenya, do we still not have a mobile banking service in South Africa that the poor can really afford? Just last month, a report said, broadband access in South Africa has more than doubled in the last 2 years. Is that fast? It sounds fast. But if we remove the celebratory tone from the press release, maybe it isn't. Broadband penetration increased from 5% to 11% of South Africans. So, here's the most revolutionary, democratizing, business-enabling technology ever invented, and in 2 whole years, we shift the needle by a measly 6%. Technology spreads slowly. And if we want to tackle the really pressing, really interesting challenges of today, we have to acknowledge that. We have to accept that for most people, technology spreads and seeps through society at the same oozing speed as everything else that's new and different. Why had it been so hard for me to realize this, that I was working on tomorrow's problems and forgetting today's? Well, I like gadgets. I build websites as a hobby. I read ebooks on my phone. I'd rather Skype the person sitting next to me than actually talk to them. I rely heavily on technology to organize my life. It makes me feel powerful. And so I wanted my company to be about technology too. I wanted it to be sexy and technically brilliant. I wanted to have featured on TechCrunch on our homepage. I wanted to build products I thought were impressive so that I could feel smart for being at the forefront of this technological gold rush we're always hearing about. So, as technologists, everything we do and everything we read tells us we're powerful and sexy. And we pay a lot of money for the privilege. Most of us have a good mobile phone and a computer. We get online every day without thinking what it really costs us. Our ISP and our Wi-Fi router and our credit-based cell phone contract and our data bolt-on, and we live in suburbs with computer shops. We have time to read tech articles, and we go to schools and have jobs with other people with fancy new devices. All the things that make us tech-savvy cost money, even if we don't notice we're spending it. Sexy, powerful, wealthy. So the hardest thing for a technologist to learn is humility. It's hard to accept that what we make are just tools, and that sometimes we make them unnecessarily complicated just so they'll make us look more sexy and more powerful. If we're really lucky that humility is forced upon us, there is nothing sexy or powerful about shuttering a company that no one wants, about begging for credit or retrenching your friends. So, one of the most humble technologies in the world is a simple checklist. So simple. In his fantastic book, The Checklist Manifesto, Attwell Gawande tells us that a well-designed checklist in a hospital setting, particularly in surgery, can dramatically reduce the incidence of complications and death. It's hard to believe that for all our medical wizardry, the thing that can really matter when you're in hospital is a well-placed checklist. There are places in South Africa where a well-designed checklist could save many lives. Our Free State province has the worst infant mortality rate in the country. In some districts, more than 1 in 10 babies die, most of them born prematurely. The crazy thing is that the situation can be so simply improved without the need for high-end training or expensive machinery. Just 3 things can save the vast majority of premature babies. Keeping the child skin to skin with its mother or father, air from a simple ventilator, and a dose of surfactant, a substance in our lungs that stops them collapsing. There is nothing futuristic or complicated about useful technology. It's often quite ordinary, so simple it's almost invisible. And it's driven by people who are more interested in solving problems than in building impressive products. Now, as technologists and entrepreneurs, what would change about the way we work if we accept that technology spreads slowly? Would we also slow down? I don't think so. I think we'd work more effectively. I think we'd be more focused on solving urgent problems in simple ways, on building appropriate technologies that people can use immediately. In my work, I've largely abandoned my attempts to make and sell ebooks. At Better Care, we only sell our nursing textbooks in print now. And at Paperight, we're building a network of print-on-demand bookstores just by enabling ordinary copy shops to print books out for people on any old printer. So we're empowering small printing businesses to act as bookstores, working from shops and homes and even containers across the country, delivering low-cost books to people who would never otherwise get to a big city bookstore, let alone an online bookstore. And it works because sometimes all you need is a simple printout. I'm not saying we should never work on big, powerful technology. we can answer some big questions with that and help solve many of the problems of tomorrow before we get there, but it's an ivory tower, and we should acknowledge that. We don't need fancy technology to help people read, to teach, or to save mothers and babies. We need a humble kind of problem solving. Technologists who already understand existing technology are brilliantly placed to find those simple solutions. They know a technology's most reliable, tested, stable, universally compatible features. And if we can turn that knowledge to solving today's problems, we can get a lot more done than if we try to solve tomorrow's. Thank you.